Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Ready to Love. We are talking about episode 12, the finale. This is I choose you, you choose me ceremony about to unfold. Before we begin, I know I'm late, forgive me, but here we are. Like I promised, I'm bringing the episodes. They're late, but I might be late, but I'm right on time. That's the story I'm sticking with. And so before I begin, housekeeping rules, please don't forget to like the video, drop a comment, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Alright, so going into this, we're now going into like the final episode. And isn't life funny, but isn't that how life be sometimes? It's Maury. Yeah, I have two. He has two connects. Like producers, like they are misbehaving because there's some prospects they sent home. Herbert it seemed, I don't know if they made him look like he wasn't serious, but he seemed really just not aggressive and but I don't know if he was like a playboy shot. They sent Herbert home. They sent the other Chris home. The wild card Chris home. Even Mr. Erotica, they sent him home. It wasn't, I guess it was quietest. Maybe he needed to go home. Who was the correct person I felt that they sent home? Chris, my bro. I mean, something happened at the end, but he seemed like a correct candidate. So it seems like more so than any other season, don't at me, at family member. More so than any other season, I felt like they've sent, definitely legible, candidates home, both men and women. And I use the men as example because all the women were gorgeous. Let's not play. All of them, like when you see them on their lives, gorgeous. Like I don't feel like the camera, I don't know if it was the lighting, because some of them, the makeup looked kind of crazy. Like they look like they put, used somebody else's colors to do their faces on the camera. I don't know what was wrong with the lighting with Ready to Love, but the ladies in real life on their live, they are gorgeous. Every single one of them. The one I don't like, the one I like, all of them gorgeous. So without saying, anyway, you look at the lineup, like they gave face for days. The guys, they did okay. They're alright, but that's why I'm using the guys. Like some of the guys left, and some of the guys that they sent home, we could have switched them out. I ain't trying to boo it. I'm just saying, just as a viewer, we could have switched them out. But we did villainize a couple of these guys who I thought were like, interesting. Like the other Chris, they say he was talking a good game. I don't know how true that is, but that's what they said. You know how when it comes out in the reunion that they said it was all fake what they said. How they sent Herbert home, they say he coming off with player. I don't know if this, so all this they said, we'll see if it's true or if it's just, all part of the production game. Because at this point, I'm inclined to believe that the women or the men, the contestants don't get to choose who goes home. I am convinced that production decides who is going home. At me if you want to, because I'm still perplexed how those women, there were 5 left, how 3 of them were linked to Chris, and they let Chris get on the chopping block and get his ass sent home. Meanwhile, Mario was seeing one person at a time. Yeah, one person. He was seeing Jessica, one person, and he get to stay over Chris. But I'm just saying, I'm just perching on my little chair and just observing. That right there tell me that production is the one controlling everything in the midst of trying to create lasting. My God, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's gonna work, but that's what I see. But let's catch up to fast forward to the current present time. The guys are now going to meet a close family member, relative, friend of the woman they're interested in. So first scene we have Janelle and Courtney, who's meeting Quentin. I mean, Courtney, I think, is a cousin or something, some close family member of hers, somebody in the family, like second, third, fourth cousin, however it is. But sure, so Courtney is, I like how he's just kind of looking quietly. He brings up the age difference, and he even actually has them talk about, the children aspect. And that's when, my guy talk about, he wants 3 kids and a dog. No, he didn't say that, but I think I heard 3 kids. And then Courtney look at her like, sis, how many of those are you gonna have? Now, is it impossible for her to have 3 kids? No, it's not. But I think even if she was in her 30s, I don't think she's interested in birthing 3 kids. That's the impression I get. That's what I'm getting. So I don't know. They haven't had real combos yet, but I know this Ready to Love sequence is a quick boom, 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 boom. So they're gonna have to figure it out. But is Quentin going to have to compromise on what he truly desires, and when you compromise on what you truly desire, do you remain in that compromise, or do you eventually one day wake up and say, I can't do this anymore? Particularly when it comes to kids, I don't know if that's a compromise that he's going to want to live with. So this is a conversation. I mean, I know a lot of the time, you know, they're more concerned with elimination and staying on the show, which is the problem with this show in terms of getting a real connect. But in real life, that big issue should be the first thing that is diced, broken down, and dissected and decided on. And I think that's what led to her and Herbert not really connecting like that, because Herbert was interested, but he was clear. He said, what you're not going to do is you're not going to rush me to the altar. You're not going to, yes, I want kids though. Kids are very important to me, but I have to be married before I have my kids. Yes, I know you're 41, but you're not going to rush me. And his clarity and he dug his feet into the sand, like, you're not going to move me and you're not going to change my timeline because you're in a hurry, is why they didn't end up together. So he was clear. He didn't come here to, I'm talking about Herbert, that is. Herbert was clear not compromising on what was a non-negotiable for him, and I'll give him that. He maintained that to the end, to the point where he got sent home. Because I won't say it's because of that. Because if he had, you know, conceded and said, oh, you know, yeah, maybe, you know, we would have gone to the final version now. I don't know, this is just me talking, but I just feel that because Herbert was honest and sincere with his non-negotiable, that's why he ended up going home. So as Janelle and Quentin have not even discussed the nitty-gritty of kids, are you people just, is everything an alliance? I mean, I know Quentin likes her, but how realistic is he being by not talking about, and not even them not having a clear convo, like this is what we're doing? Doesn't seem real or practical to me. Like, how I'm going to say we go together, right? Because at this age and this stage, if we're going together, it's for the sake of end point being marriage. So some of these things need to have been discussed up front. I'm not saying even if everything works, it's going to work to the end, but there should be an understanding on the very basic things. And for both of them, one of those basic things is children. Are we having them? How many are we having? And what are we doing? Don't look like they've had a real conversation. Seems like Quentin has been more consumed with winning, you know, the hot cake in the house, the spicy, sassy hot cake in the house. Now you're left with the hot cake. You find out that maybe you don't really like spicy food. I don't know, I'm just saying, like, maybe he's not really into spicy food. Like, you know, he like mild and this is extra hot. You know how people try those wing flavors? I don't know. I don't think, it doesn't look like they've conversed properly. They've been more concerned with getting to the end to what avail, to what result. But I'll give them that. They look like, you know, the high school prom king and queen. You know, they have a nice aesthetic together. But aesthetic it don't keep a relationship together. It don't feed the children. Don't make people happy. It's just an aesthetic. It look good on camera. But don't mind me. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing based on the edits on network, on their own network. Next meeting is Kat, who is Monica's cousin, I believe, meets up Maria. Now, can I just tell you, Monica, I don't know your last name, but your Kat's good friend, good girl, good cousin. Yeah, can you be in my crew? Can I be in your crew? Like, that's the kind of road dog I need. Like, don't let her lose. She has a very light voice, almost like Michelle A. If you remember the singer, like, it's high pitch, but don't let that fool you. She a gangster. Like, she come in, but with smooth. She's smooth. She's not like a bull in a China store. She come like this. You won't even know where she's coming from. Monica, love you. Love it. Monica is a G. She hit the point, like boom, boom. Like, that's who you need on your side. That's why I feel like, you know, Kat. You've got some real ones on your team. Like, you good. Like, it is nothing. And you know how people say that, you know, birds of the same feathers flock together. I look at Monica. That already made me look at Kat. Like, I mean, I've never had any issue with Kat anyway. She just seemed to be on the outskirts, never really got to connect with somebody properly. But Monica AG, that's what I'm saying. Like, Monica just had me looking like, that's right. She asked real questions, you know, about custody of his son, what the relationship is like, how old is the son, all these things. Like, she really gave me perspective, as well as, you know, Kat, when he gets up and leaves, she talk about, yeah, that baby mama gonna be an issue. He talk about, yeah, that they good. That she cut and dice. She I love to know what Monica does for a living, because she was very precise, surgically precise. She had the precision of a surgeon in unearthing what she thought might be issues and voicing them just real clean. I think there's going to be an issue with that baby mom. I'm just telling you right now. How do you feel about being stepmom to a 12-year-old son? And how do you feel about moving? I don't know if that's going to work for me. Like Monica, you're a G. That's who you need, ladies. You want a Monica. So I thought she was so much fun, but she understood the assignment. We still use that phrase. She understood the assignment. She was clean, precise with it, without offending. I mean, I'll give Maury too. Maury, I think part of why he's lasted this long is he's got like a smooth tongue. He's got like an old cat spirit. One of those old cats, like the old guys back in the day. When they talk, it rhymes. There's a rhythm. They're this, they're that, dun, smooth. So he's charming. I think that's part of the charm. So, because I was saying, like, how Maury get to the end 1, 2, and he got 2 chicks. Like, I think there's a little bit of charm there. That's what I think. There's a little bit of charm there, which he can turn it on and off. And I think in the very first episode with Tequila, he had showed some compassion or empathy and just kind of consoled her a little bit. So that might be what the attraction is. I don't know if attraction, but shall stay in power. But yeah, so he was not offended at all. It was really fun, like, get together. I really like that. So Aries and her mom and a cousin or a sister and another family member, I think it was sister or cousin, they meet up with Phil. So Aries has told us, and I think we know this, that they are good friends, check, and they have chemistry, check. So we know that. But there's a but. So we get to the table. If you see her mom is grace personified. She's poise. I don't know how the ladies, but she looked good. She looked good with a T at the end. And guy didn't know what he was in for. She started with leadership qualities. The guy said, he didn't say, the answer wasn't bad. Said talking about he's not going to blow through everything. He's going to get her consideration. But Mom C is old school and believes in a man leading based on how her marriage was before her husband died and what she wants for her daughter. She believes in gender roles from what I can see. And so hence, if you're going to believe in gender roles, then you want to make sure that the person that you're going to make lead can lead. Somebody that your daughter will respect. So she started with leadership qualities. Guy did not answer that question to mother's satisfaction. I feel like they grimaced when he said that. And it's not, that wasn't bad, because times have changed. I think there has to be a combination of both things. That yes, you are the lead. I think she wanted him to stand more, because I don't think the mother would want a guy just to railroad her daughter. But at the same time, he needs to acknowledge his role as the head of household. And I think he didn't occupy that space, and the mother could sense it, as well as probably conversations she's had with Aries anyway, which is probably why she led with leadership qualities. Like, it was a setup to begin with. I'm just saying, how we start with that, but we started with that. Maybe that's based on editing. I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. Second thing, they talked about religion. Now we know, black people, I'm sorry, most of us is Christianity or Islam. Anything in between, I look at you cross-eyed like, what, you talk to the devil? That's just how we are. Very, very, you're this or you're that. He neither of those. Talk about Buddhism, and he's open to other, spiritual my guy. I mean, I don't want you to lie, but that's not going to win a mum over. I'm sorry. Didn't win her over. And I think the mother now came back. She doubled back, talked about we love our men to lead. I say that was obvious from the get-go, clearly. So it didn't really land well. I mean, Phil tried, came with rose, came with flowers for them, tried to give the mother a hug, but he knew he had, fallen flat on his face, so he scurried away. We do have a lot of people, deciding that no, they're trying to get, what should I say? They're trying to have a variation on what what their parents grew up with. And I have to say, there is something to be said about how it was done before, and there's nothing wrong with sprucing it up a little bit, But the original formula wasn't a bad formula. And I think what's going on now, in my humble opinion, is we are straying so far away from the original formula that relationships are not working. So maybe the old formula where a woman was considered a commodity, come open a bank account, that was way too much. But here on the other end, where it's like, you know, F this, F that, I can do what I want to do. Do what you want to do. Nobody said don't do what you want to do. But I feel like there's a certain order. I do believe in a certain order, and we are out of order right now. Don't at me, at your mom. Like we're out of order. It's like when we had the needle all the way here, and that, you know, and that's when feminism came in. Like, come on, why can't a woman open an account? Why can't a woman, you know, earn a living? So we brought the needle to the middle, and then we took it all the way over here. That's way too much. Then you're wondering why everybody's just willy-nilly. It's chaotic. Relationships are chaotic right now because we've gone too far to the left. I'm sorry, like that's how I feel. Too far to the left. We need to bring it back to the middle. Not back to where a woman can open an account, because that would make sense, but at least to the middle. And that's where, you know, the mother is. I think the mother was just trying to, because mother said, this is how it worked for me. Let's see how it's going to work for you. So I feel there's some elements of new and old that have to, you can't, I would say, don't recreate the wheel. Oh, son is like, no, this, you know, when I know some people look at submission, it's a curse word. Think of it like this, and I think I've said this before, but submission, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad thing. Because if you pick a man, whether it's Islam he's practicing or Christianity, those are the two I know, right? Islam or Christianity, a man who is spiritually connected, one submits to the other. Me, I only know Christianity, so I can't talk from what I know from the Bible. One submits to the other. But right here, God, if your man doesn't follow God, doesn't believe in God, doesn't know that there's a higher being, who is he accountable to? And honestly, it's nice to be a woman. Please, can you lean back and be soft sometimes? Yeah, we work. Yeah, we can be the bosses where we are. But I think it's nice to come home and be a woman. Let him be a man. I don't want to be a man. That's why I didn't come as a man. I don't have the parts of a man. And I'm glad. To be quite honest, I might get a little sarcastic sometimes at work. Talk about who you talking to. Just because you have blah, blah, blah. Bruh, back off. You know, fall back. I get a little sassy at work, but at home, I just want to chill. Now, I can only speak for me once again, but I just think that at this point, yo, we're doing too much. Relationships are chaotic now. They weren't this chaotic. Now, I'm not saying you need to take it back to, you know, the 20s. But yo, let's bring it back. If it's not working, that means we're doing something wrong. It's not working. Why do we have so many different single this, single that? All this is chaotic. And what's happening now with no family unit, it's like we have a generation of males who don't know how to be men. And a generation of women who now have to do both. Because we don't have men being, we don't have you know, men being men. So now we just have women doing both. And now they're all tough and bitter and angry. I'm not saying everybody's angry, but there's a toughness there that you've had to acquire because you now end up doing both. So clearly we are doing something wrong. But all I see is, you know, now it's just everybody's at each other. Men versus women, women versus men. It's like, you know, you have the KS people, this language, all of this. All of this noise is because we are straight away from the original formula. I didn't still go back to, you know, no heat, no electricity. But come back and realize, and let's all look at where we went wrong. And I know this is you know, dating, you know, relationships is now $1 billion industry. Why are we discussing this show now? Because people have difficulty finding a partner. As I digress, let's go back into the show. So just looking at areas at her mom, you can see her mom's a strong woman. And I've said before that it requires strength to submit. Aries' mother is not a punk. She no punk. She's strong, solid. There's strength in submitting. Clearly the mother submitted. So don't think like when you talk about submission, you're weak. Far from it. It takes strength to stand back and say, okay, you go ahead. Jessica has a friend, Merkel. I remember the chick's name. Nothing to report. Yeah, there was something to report, though I lie. That short set, I know opposites attract, but yeah. So sis is in a bandage dress, all poised. And Brad he finished his shift at Five Guys in a short set. No judgment here. I'm just saying that there's a startling difference. So we finally get to the final scenes. The I choose you, you choose me ceremony. Who are the first people to come? Aries and Phil. Aries is in a red sequin number. Phil is in a dress shirt and some pants. I guess it's hot, so he didn't want a jacket. A jacket would have been nice. But you know, jokes aside, I thought what was really thoughtful with Phil was, yeah, he came with the flowers, and he's always been consistent with that, flowers and stuff, but he also brought something significant to talk about a baseball. So herein, this now ties everything together. Aries' father was a professional baseball player, so she comes from money. And so he wanted something significant for her to, you know, so he'd listen, he cared. Long and short of the story, Aries chose herself. And I don't think it's a case where they can never be together forever, but there needs to be more communication. He needs to hear her and hear what she's saying, what her fears are. And not to say it has to be somebody else, but her fears are, how is she going to take care of herself and her boys and another person? She wants somebody to come in and do what she grew up seeing. She grew up seeing her father take care of the whole family. She grew up seeing her father to provide and protect her. She has not been reassured that Phil can be a provider and a protector. Yeah, he's fun and it's a good time and he's thoughtful and he's sweet. But some of the things she saw in a relationship that worked, her parents' relationship worked until he died. So now at this point, she's like, I don't see this. So she has some misgivings, and it doesn't look like Phil has really paid attention to her misgivings to make her feel safe. Because at the end of the day, all a woman is looking for is to feel safe. Next is Marie. What was Marie wearing? She was wearing a two-piece, missing the jacket. She looking nice heels, nice dress. They should have chose themselves. I think the most they've gone with, I think he kissed on the neck. Like, guys, I'm not saying it here, but I'm happy for them. We knew this was coming. Hey, woo. And then last couple, Quentin and Janelle, we know. Woo, But you know, there's this thing. Bra was in a turquoise suit. This, you know, like European cut suits are nice, yeah, right? They can be nice, but why is it that all these guys, they will buy a jacket that's 3 sizes too small? I don't understand. Is that the style? Like, it's meant to look tight, so if you lift your hand up like this, you do Incredible Hulk. I don't know. Like, and then on top of that, his pants, like you could see his cell phone number through his pants, and then on top of that, the pants were short, so they're swinging at his ankles, so I can see his ankles. I'm not saying his ankles were ashy, but I don't want to see your ankles. Like, I feel if you're in a suit, I think the thing should touch your shoes. But maybe I'm just old school. I don't know. The whole thing it was a weird color to begin with, but it's like, you know, colors are good on our skin, so I'm not mad at that. But the jacket was 3 sizes too small, and the pant was like he don't have a son, but somebody's kid gave him pants to wear. They were too short and they were too tight. And that's not criticism, that's just an observation. But anyway, we knew that was so. It has been a very lackluster season for me. I think for us, like, usually I'm excited by at least one of the couples. I'm excited by none of them. Unimpressed, underwhelmed. I feel like I've been underwhelmed for the whole season. But because I made a commitment to y'all, stuck through it, I think I give you every episode that came out. But completely, I'm really underwhelmed. Completely, just like, that's how I feel. But anyway, here we are. We're at the end of the season. I was completely underwhelmed by everyone. It seemed like none of the connections were occurring. And here we are. The reunion's about to come. Hopefully, they can shed some light. We can get some clarity. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But producers, y'all goofed on this. Why did I say y'all goofed? Because it just didn't seem to, it wasn't meshing at all. It didn't mesh. Us, the viewers, we weren't convinced by anybody. Janelle and Quentin would have been happy in the beginning, were happy. Then all of a sudden, Janelle started showing her A. Like, all of a sudden, I don't know, it just seemed like, who is this? I don't know. And then Quentin seemed a little too, like, pulled in. Like, so it doesn't seem exciting anymore. Yeah, and then Maria and Jessica kept her cool, but like, I don't see anything between them. I'm sorry, I see nothing. I don't see. I see wood. No, and then Ariel and Phil, who we know had a connection, but everything, all the dots weren't connecting. That was the most sincere connection, because she followed her heart, like, yo, I'm scared about this part, so I'm not going to jump. But here we are at the end, and guys, let's hope the reunion might unearth something. We might get something from it, but I got nothing from this. Like, this is like a reflection of what happens. So are any of these people going to last? I would be mega surprised if they do, and I'm not wishing them ill, but it just seems blah. And it's not meant to be exciting for me, it's meant to be exciting for them. But sometimes when you see something between people, you're like, oh wow. I was not oh wow for any of them. But we've come to the end. Please don't forget to like the video. Tell me what y'all think. You're underwhelmed as well as I am. I think we have been underwhelmed the whole season. I'm not impressed, unfortunately. I was hoping for something exciting, but it does seem like as these seasons have gone by, it's just been less and less like watching paint dry. And please don't forget to subscribe. Lola, over and out.